Hi guys, if you are new here, my name is Steph. I have bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features and mixed episodes. I got that diagnosis around 7 years ago, so I lived a majority of my life not on medication, so I do this channel in order to help advocate for medication and help loved ones and people with bipolar disorder understand each other and help me feel less alone and help you guys feel less alone. This channel is not about me, it's about the community. So when you guys respond on comments, like, it's all about you. You're helping people learn more about bipolar. You're making it a more talked about disorder. So anytime you want to leave a comment, please do. So a lot of you guys have been leaving a lot of really awesome comments. I appreciate you so much. Like I said, it's about the topic and getting people to know about bipolar disorder and loved ones with it. So in today's video, I want to talk about that exactly, loved ones. Somebody reached out and had a comment. Their daughter has not been able to forgive her for the parents' mental illness behavior. And so she suffers and she's unable to see the grandchildren and she feels like it's never going to get any better. And so do I have any advice or experience with that? I do have a lot of experience with pain in my family, me causing my family pain. I can give you an example. I have a couple of siblings that do not speak to me and have not spoken to me in a while, and we've had really strained relationships over the years. When I had my first psychotic episode, I was 16 and I did not know what was happening. I was not in reality. I was not living in reality. I was out of my mind, and I think I did some hurtful things to my brothers during those times, and they have been upset with me about it for a very long time. So when I had my first psychotic episode at 16, I was in the house with my two siblings, and I think I was probably scary to them. It is scary to see someone in psychosis, but I think I might have been verbally abusive or said something cruel to them or did something. I have no idea, but I know that they are very upset with me for that time in my life. And well, I've been told by other family members that they're upset with me about that period of my life. I've apologized over and over to them, and they have not been able to truly forgive me for these things. And that's just something that I have to deal with and accept. The only way people are going to not be hurt by you if you're bipolar and you have symptoms is if they understand that your symptoms are symptoms and not who you are. Because it's really hard for people to see the difference when you see someone in psychosis and they're screaming and yelling and saying really horrible things, delusional. It's terrifying for people to see. Like when I saw Tiffany hearing voices, when we were driving, she says, "Don't do it, Stephanie." And I'm like, "What? Don't do what?" And she's like, "Don't punch me in the face. They're telling you to punch me in the face." She's hearing these voices. It's so scary. It's so scary to see people in that state. And sometimes family members have a really hard time forgiving that or understanding that. And the only way that they're going to understand is if they do research and like watch channels like this, or, read a book, watch a movie. There are more and more television programmings that show people with mental illness. If you have a family member who doesn't want to learn about mental illness, maybe you can slide in one of these programs and they will learn more. Like there's a character on a show called Empire who has bipolar disorder. There is a character in the series Shameless who has a bipolar disorder, and the Ian Gallagher, the character in Shameless who has bipolar disorder. One that's a really incredible series to watch if you haven't seen it, called Shameless. And there's 9 seasons and they're all available on Netflix, I think. That's probably one of the best representations of bipolar disorder psychosis and how scary it can get that I've ever seen on television or, Netflix or whatever. It's there's a scene where Ian Gallagher takes his baby, a 1-year-old baby, and parks the car and leaves the baby in the car because he has no concept of time. And he runs into the store and he says and he comes out and somebody's like notified someone that the baby's in the car, and he's like, what are you doing? He grabs the baby. And anyways, if you guys want to watch it, that's something you could do. You can kind of slide in movies or things like that. There's a movie called Several. It's not really, it doesn't really help with mental illness, but there's Girl Interrupted is a really good movie. There's all kinds of programming that you can find. There's a really good series called, probably the best representation of bipolar disorder type 2 that I have seen is in a series called Modern Love, and I think it's season 2, episode 2. There's an episode with Anne Hathaway, and this particular episode does a really good job of showing severe depression, and when somebody has so many symptoms of depression that they can't go to work and stuff like that. It was very, very eye-opening, and just like, there's a lot of shows like that you can watch, or slide in where they don't know, but the only way they're going to understand is if they learn. And you can try to coerce them to learn stuff. You can send them videos, or tell them about books or stuff, and some parents and some loved ones, they just don't want to hear it. They think it's an excuse, and it's just because they don't understand, or it's because they've been so traumatized that what else can they do? This week I have been sleeping not so good, maybe like average of 5 hours every night. One night I had around 3 hours and 10 minutes. I clock with my Aura ring, so I know exactly, and it's synced. My husband can see my sleep. And so the night that I got 3 hours of sleep, I had fallen asleep at like 11 o'clock and woken up at 12, and was sat in bed for like an hour and could not go back to sleep. So I grabbed my phone, and he sees me on my phone, and he's like, oh my God, what are you doing? Why aren't you asleep? And he had already seen that a couple of times during the week. And so he started getting really paranoid that I was going to go into psychosis, because when I do go into psychosis, it's rather quick. But I am on a very high dose of medication, so that's the difference. But that first year of our marriage, I went into psychosis, and it traumatized him so deeply that when I don't get enough sleep, he gets paranoid. And he also gets very angry because, I don't want to say very angry, but he gets upset because he says, well, I don't understand why you're not taking your sleep more seriously. I don't understand why you're still drinking coffee. I don't understand why, if it's so bad, what can happen? And so he's saying to me, like, I don't understand, why you're not going to yoga every day. When you went to yoga every day, you were the happiest I've ever seen you. Like, I do need to do cardio every day in order to be healthy and to be functional. Like, I do need some sort of cardio, some sort of serious exercise where I break a sweat every day in order to be happy as part of the package with bipolar and the things that I've been through. It shouldn't, if you're diagnosed early in life and put on medication, your experience is going to be totally different from somebody who has not been diagnosed until they're late in their late stages of their life, and they've had years of trauma and episodes, and all of that stuff. So I have a lot of PTSD, and I think I might also have ADHD. I'm not sure. I have to talk to my psychiatrist about that. But so I told him, hey, I know you're really upset with me. What can I do? And he said, well, I really appreciate if you made a schedule. So I ordered a calendar, and I'm going to make a schedule, because one of the things he has a problem with too is when I overextend myself. He gets really upset about that and says, that you've been doing too much this week. Why have you been doing too much? Because we agreed, like, there was a condition, like, you're not going to have a job because your number one thing that you need to do is stay healthy and not have another episode. And so me doing YouTube and try to make music, and meanwhile planning trips, and he was really afraid because we had 2 trips, 2 weekends, back-to-back trips up north, but one of them just got moved, so it's actually not a stressor anymore. But I can tell you, I have stories about one of I could tell you, one of my siblings that doesn't talk to me anymore. When I had my third psychotic break, he came with my dad and drove all the way down from Paso to try and talk to me. They were unable to talk to me because I was unreachable, because I was in psychosis. I was unable to speak to them at all. I was just angry, and I don't know what happened, but I know I shut the door in their face and they left. But then again, my brother came again when I had my episode, my fourth episode, my real severe psychotic episode before I got put on medication. He had came because they lived up north and I was in LA. So my brother had come down to LA, and he had his own issues at that time. He's been battling alcohol. But he came down to try to help me. And there was a time when, and I was not very nice to him at all. I was paranoid. I was afraid. I believed that my husband had a secret life. Like, I believed that all of these weird, crazy thoughts, just, I had a bunch of weird stuff going on in my head. Nothing made sense. Everything was upside down. And I drove with him in the car, and I drove like 100 miles an hour with me in the car, and there was nothing he could do about it. And he was probably totally terrified. And I have tried to apologize for that, because I do know about that. But I think maybe because when we're in psychosis, we black out a lot. So there's big chunks of time that we don't even know existed. So I'm not sure if my siblings are angry about something that I don't know about, or if they're upset at me because they think I haven't taken accountability for anything. But I mean, I've taken accountability for everything that I know of. I can only apologize for what I know of. And sometimes it takes people a while to forgive. My suggestion to anybody that has a family member that doesn't want to speak to them anymore or has been hurt would be just to simply ask them, do you think you can ever forgive me? And what can I do to help you forgive me? Would be my question that I would like to know from my loved ones that are kind of done with me. I'm really lucky. I have a really good support system. But, we shouldn't beat ourselves up if the people that we love are angry with us over things that we have done. It's up to them if they are willing to learn about our illness. We can tell them about our illness. They may not want to know about our illness. If they see it as an excuse, that is their right. They'll figure it out one day. One day, you guys leaving comments and me and all the other vloggers who talk about bipolar disorder will have completed our job and help people better understand what's going on with us. But yeah, you're not alone. Like, so many of us have broken relationships. It's just part of it. I'll tell you guys, like I told the person that left the comment, like, just think of it as a symptom, like horrible relationships with family, horrible relationships with friends. That's like a symptom. We all experience that if we've been in psychosis. Typically, I don't really know anybody that doesn't have any unhealed wounds or wounds from someone being hurt. And it's a scary, it's a hurtful thing. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. You are not alone. Please leave your comments. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Okay, bye.